So welcome back. This is the master bedroom of my personal residence. What I wanted to share with you guys today is how to change out a ceiling fan. So I've stopped at Menards and picked myself up a Hunter ceiling fan. This is the Allendale LED. And I also picked up a fan lamp remote control. I've used these before in the past, not this specific brand, but I have picked one up from Home Depot before. You install it in the base of the fan, so you have a remote control if it doesn't come with one. This specific fan does not come with a remote control, and the last time I put one in it didn't. I definitely wanted one, so that's what I ended up doing, and it made a world of difference. Loving having a control by my bedside. Wife gets really cold, I get really hot. It helps me change it based on how we're feeling. Or if she's asleep, I can turn it on, and that way I can get to sleep. So right now all I've done so far is turn the power off to this current light fan unit. And what I'm going to do before I truly get started to show you guys how this is done is I'm going to unbox the fan and at least put the fan blades together, because screwing those together is tedious and takes a long time. So I'm going to do that on my own time here. And when I come back, we will start taking down the fan that's up here piece by piece, and I'll show you how that's done. So normally I would recommend always having someone else nearby when you're replacing ceiling fans, because sometimes you just need an extra set of hands. And at the same token, sometimes having your hands up in the air working on these, your shoulders and your arms get pretty tired. As stated before, I did already do the new fan blades with this Hunter fan. They are actually 3 little grommets, rubber grommets have to go into each one of the blades, and then you screw it to the mounting arm, which are essentially these throughout the ceiling fan. So those 5 blades are already put together. We're going to start dismantling this one right now, and I'll throw some other tips as I go along and some comments that I have in terms of some other fans I've used in the past. So most of these glass pieces are just held on with some simple screws, so they're easy enough to unscrew by hand and take down. I'm going to do that now, actually right after I take the bulbs out, because the bulbs need to come out first, and set them aside so that when I pull this unit down I don't break them, so I can either sell it to somebody else or just so they don't shatter all over my bedroom. One of the other things I did do while I was doing the fan blades was this specific fan has sort of its own downrod arm. A lot of these fan makers now are doing things to make it easier for one person to replace a fan by creating certain arms and hooks so that the weight of the fan motor itself isn't up in your arms while you're trying to install it. So I have also put the downrod on per the instructions and screwed it in with just a pair of pliers. Some of the other tools I've pulled up here in order to do this are, I have a cobalt ratcheting screwdriver with all the necessary Phillips and flathead screws I might need, give or take what this old fan versus a new fan will need. And I've also pulled up a pair of one of my favorite tools, which is Harbor Freight strippers for wire strippers. The fan came with some very long wires. I'm not going to need that much because I'm not going to have a significant down rod. I'm just going to have as close to the ceiling as possible. So I will need to snip those and restrip them so that I can make a good connection. So right now I've got all 4 of those glass pieces and bulbs off. There are on this one, there are 3 screws up here that are holding this lighting unit in, so I'm going to grab my screwdriver, Phillips head right now, and take those out. going to save all the parts, like I said, just in case I do give this or sell this to somebody else. Let them know that it was working fine and that I have all the pieces. There are a few connections in here. It looks like one white and black for the light fixture. And there's the lighting unit off. The next main piece that becomes a pain, at least for me, in terms of doing this by yourself, are the fan blades, both taking them off and putting the new ones back on. But there are 2 screws in each one of these fan blades in the arms that hold them up. You basically just have to take them all out. One of the things that I will mention is that I have installed a half dozen fans by myself. One of the last ones I purchased before this one was, I think it's Harbor Breeze. Harbor Breeze fan. I was not impressed by the fan. Everything was loosely fitting, it shook, it didn't, even when I tried to balance it, it did not balance well. So I highly recommend staying away from the Harbor Breeze. Right now, most likely these are probably all made by very similar, if not the same, Chinese manufacturers, but if you have the opportunity and have a couple options, I would definitely recommend Hunter over the Harbor Breeze. Again, this is one of the most time-consuming parts, trying to get these all off one at a time. This is generally where my arms get pretty tired. Again, both taking them down and putting them up. Just an awkward position, trying to hold it, making sure it doesn't turn away from you. Specific brand actually has screws and little locking washers in it, so I'm trying to take it out careful where I don't lose any of these 10 screws or the locking washers. Last one. Having the arms in the air is already getting to me. So I'm going to put these fan blades out of the way and screws out of the way so I don't lose them, and I'll be right back. Alright, now we got to take out the housing cover. There are generally 4 screws that hold this in, so I'm going to take those out now. This one also has, again, very similar thing, a little sort of locking washer up there, so I'm trying to make sure I don't lose track of those. But there are 2 on each side here. Two of them out, and then the other 2 I'm going to loosen up. And I should be able to slide this off. There we go. There's the housing cover, and I left the other 2 screws in there, so just so I don't lose these, I'm going to actually put these back in, because I'm not going to be putting the fan back together myself unless I'm the one installing it somewhere else. Just sort of tightening them by hand here, if my left fingers would work properly. Alright, put the housing aside. I'm going to take a look at how this one was installed. Not very familiar with this brand. It looks like there's a plate here covering it, so taking a look to see what it is that's holding it in. There it is. This slides out. This slides up and out. And then I need to pull the cords through here and get them disconnected. There's the white. Black and blue, it looks like, are together. And of course they're tied up there together. Grab my screwdriver, see if I can pry it out of there easily. Looks like there isn't a whole lot of play up there, so I'm not going to get that out. So what I'm going to do is switch to my flathead, which I have in here, and take the main unit off, and that'll give me some more room. So the main unit is connected by 2 screws. This time they're flathead screws. To the outlet box, or to the junction box, and there goes one of them. Here's the other one. This is why it's always nice to have 2 hands to hold this fan housing, since right now it's just going to be a wire holding it up. So put those screws aside, because there's always a chance I might need them later. Now I can unhook the other electrical connection and pull the rest of the fan down. So now that the fan is down, it looks like it's a junction box there was mounted very well. So that's a good thing, always a good thing. And they had some rubber gaskets up there, probably just to help with it fitting in case it shook at all or lined up against there. So I'm actually going to hold on to those and leave those up there, I think. Let me take a look at the main mounting unit that came with the new fan. We'll take a look at putting that up there right now. So I decided I'm actually going to take these 2 little rubber gaskets off, because the housing unit that I have for this one actually already has Some little rubber dimples here as you mount it against the ceiling. So I am going to go without that. And I'm going to reuse the screws from the old ceiling fan that mounted the old bracket, because I don't see a set specifically in here. Let me double check one more time. No, I don't see that, so we're going to put the new bracket up there, again using the old screws and washers, straight into the junction box here. Hoping these screws are long enough. It's probably going to be pretty close. Looks like that one caught. Oh, come on now. And it appears that one caught. Alright. Just going to screw those up and try and line it up where I want it. Make sure those little rubber dimples set up nicely against the ceiling. Tighten this up nice. Oh yeah, nice and snug. Both sides. No play. Make sure I got my cords down here where I can see them. Next step, like I said, I already pre-mounted the arm. So I'm just going to pull this up and show you here. This is actually just going to sit up here. Again, they're trying to make this easier, where there is part of the mounting feature actually holds the weight of the fan itself. So with that in there, again, I don't need all this extra cord, so I'm going to pull this down, cut and strip the cord, and to give myself a little bit of play here. And I'm also going to grab the fan lamp, the fan remote that I bought, the secondary unit, because that's actually going to be sitting up in here. So I'm going to take a break right now and trim these back, and then I'll come back when I'm ready to install it. So I've actually got the wires cut down to size. I'm going to pull off, they've got a ground wire here on the mounting unit, which makes it nice and easy. So I don't have to try and fit one all the way up in there. But one of the good things about this unit that I bought for this, the remote kit, is it comes with these little quick attach for all the electrical. So I probably don't need to use any of the normal electrical nuts to do any attachment, because I have these. So I'm going to start off with my basic live and neutral, and I'm actually going to, I think, cut these back just a hair because they're still going to be a little big. So this was that handy dandy stripper I was talking about. That actually comes with a little set of snips in here, so I can trim that back just a hair. But this is a great electrical tool. Like I said, I highly recommend everyone have it. They're only, I think it's only like $5 at Harbor Freight. Might even be less. I'll try and get a link for it. This is my second set. When the first set stopped working, it was worth the $5 to buy another. So we're going to throw our black in there, white in there. out of the way just a little bit. I'm actually going to trim those back. Well, they should be in there far enough. Going to grab the remote unit. I'm going to twist this a little stiffer. Throw in my white and my black. Make sure those connections are strong enough to hold in there. A little sketchy, but it'll work for me. Did the wrong black. Let's move that out of the way. This black. Alright. So got that up there. These three are going to go to the fan unit, which are similarly coated. The white, blue, and black. And then I will need a nut for the ground. So I'm going to grab the unit now and grab a nut. And we'll see if we can get this whole unit up here and see if we can still fit this remote in here, because I think it might be a tight fit. So here's the fan unit. Put these off to the side. Ground out here so I can get that connected. All right. Now we've got our little quick connects here for blue. Might get a little more that I need there, so we're going to trim those back just a hair. Throw that blue in there, black in there. These little quick connect things definitely make life a little easier. Hopefully they don't take up too much space. Tighten this up a little and fold over the tip, I think. So it fits in there snug. I'm going to do the same for the black. Put myself there in a piece. Alright, so get in there. Same thing over here. Blue, white. I got them organized. Blue, black, and then white. So they're all in there a little bit. Looks like they're all snug. They're not going to be touching against each other. We're going to fold this unit. Actually, the last time I think I did this, one of these units, I had to get it all the way up into the middle of that rack. Move some of these connections around. And this should be able to snug right up. To the top here. My cords are sneaking out, but we'll get there. There we go. Alright, so that is where that's going to be. I'm going to grab the screws that'll hold that in. These aren't as well marked as I would have liked, but I'm pretty sure I got the right 2 screws here. Well, of course I dropped them and they're tiny, now I gotta go find it. Good, that didn't take long. I'll try and start these by hand. Find the mark. There it is. Got that one started. Just gonna fold some of those wires back in there. Get this other one started. Should be lined up pretty well. Maybe. There it is. Alright. Both of them are started. I'll get them screwed in. I'm not sure that one's in straight, so we're going to back it out and hope we can get it back in. Really struggling. Oh, tough to do some of the stuff left-handed when you're right-handed. I have a feeling that one might have gone in a little sideways, but it's in there. It's all holding up tight. And hopefully I don't have to take it all apart because one of the electrical connections fell out. But that is always a risk I run when I put it all back together. Next unit now, according to the instructions, is going to be putting all of the fan blades, new fan blades on. I got my handy dandy screwdriver, 5 blades here, and now I just got to find the mounting screws, and they are already up there in the unit, so I have to take them out to install each blade. So I think I'm just going to take them all out first. These are actually very similar to the other style. Actually, I'm not going to take them all out. Well, yes I am. Because these little plastic black blocks don't need to stay in here. I think they were just for packaging purposes, to keep some pressure off of some of the other things in this unit. So that's what this little red tag is, that you remove the shipping blocks before installing the fan blades. There's 3 of them out, so 6 screws total so far. 4 more and 2 blocks to go. Again, this is where I end up losing little pieces, so it's always nice to have somebody to hold everything as you have your hands in the air. Again, I'm getting a little warm in here, and arms are starting to get a little tired. There are all of the 5 little shipping blocks out. Time to get the fan blades in. I'm hoping this video helps anybody who is unsure whether or not they can do this on their own versus paying someone to do it. It is not rocket science. Again, it's definitely a benefit to have someone else with you to hand you stuff, hold on to things, and just as you get tired. Never quite want to line up just right the first time. First blade is in. Now the whole wonderful thing is going to sit lopsided while I do the other 4. They all line up right next to each other. So although it's a pain, it's not too hard to locate the holes and get them tightened up. So these specific fan blades actually come in this wood tone that you see, which is what I think my wife's gonna like. And also, this one has a darker sort of gray, very modern. Honestly, this is probably the side I would prefer. I like the more modern looking stuff, a lot of the grays. But right now, as you can see, this room is yellow and actually has quite a bit of wood trim. The bed we have here also has a hint of modern and a hint of traditional because it's made out of poplar. So it's got a lot of those purples and blacks and greens and grays in the poplar. But it also has a headboard design that has, I believe I got 4 different colored stains in there on pieces of oak. So in our master bedroom, with the wood trim and with the bed that has, you know, some more traditional wood features in it, I can actually probably go either modern or traditional, and the wife likes the wood tone. So I'm going to put that up here if she doesn't like it. Guess what I'll be doing later today or tomorrow. Every step you see from here going forward, backwards, and then again. So my arms will likely be in the air for another 20 minutes again. So I got 2 more blades to go. Last one. double check to make sure all these are tightened up well enough. Pretty sure they are. Alright, so we're getting into the final steps here. So now the fan blades are on. I've got to feed the wires through the unit that will house the light fixture. So I'm going to grab that now. I also need to grab, I believe there's 3 screws, and they are those 3 screws are, well, let's get the rubber band off the wire system. So that doesn't need to be in there. Alright, so I need 3 screws. I think that's these ones. There's a bunch of them. I'm going to start 2 of them here. Because this makes it a little easier. It actually has a couple of open areas for those screws so you can get it close to get that 3rd one in. So, and to hold it up there for you. So we're going to feed those through, turn the piece over a little, and try to get this 3rd one started where it needs to be. There it goes. Snugged in. Now that first one did not get snugged in, so let's finish it up there. There we go. Last one. That should be good. Down there tight. Cord feed it through, fed through. I got 3 more little screws here. These will be for the light housing. Which is next up. Most of these fans now have these great quick connects. Where everything lines up, color coded, snaps right in. Start one of these up here. Again, this is just like the other one, taking down the old one, but in reverse. That one. I'm actually going to start this one too. Try to make it easy on you. If my fingers would work. Let's try this again. Alright. So all those wires need to stay in there. This will snug right in. Should. If it's nice to me. Of course it wants to be difficult. the one in, but not the other. So I'm gonna move my ladder a little. See if I can see why it's not snug enough. Now we're getting there. Snug one of these in. Go around to the last side. Oh, there we go. It's just a little off. Last one in here. Let's get it started. Oh, come on. The whole housing is moving. So you have to hold that snug. I'm on the hole. I'm so close. Okay. Let's hope that started. There we go. Now I'm on it. So snug that one in. Snug this one in. And then the one we started with. Get that snugged in the rest of the way. Now the housing unit is in for the lights. Loosen all these up a little. What I'm actually going to do is put a light bulb in real quick. Then I'm going to run downstairs, turn the power back on, and see where we're at. Make sure everything works. Grab the little pull change real quick here, throw those on so I can, it's easy to grab. And these are nice because they have little pictures on them. One is a light bulb. So that's going to be the middle chain here. It's going to be the light, control for the light. Oh, come on. Gotta be difficult. There's that one. And the other one, picture of sort of a fan with 5 blades. It's going to be the outer one to control the fan. So sorry I cut off there. My battery went dead. I was just sort of installing the pull chains, and then running downstairs to turn the power back on. So I've done that, and I've got my switch on, so there is power to the unit, and I did test everything real quick. But in order to use these remote controls, you do need to make sure there's power to the fan, that the pull chain for the light is turned to the on position, and that the pull chain for the fan is always at the fastest, highest position. So right now I've got light, and I've got fan on low. And we'll get started there. I can swap to medium. Changes over to medium. Still getting up to speed. And then I can change to high. This unit appears there's at least a little beep sound in terms of when it's changing. And this fan has a slight hum to it. The motor has a slight hum. I'm hoping my wife can live with it, but normally she struggles with some of these sounds that some of the fans make. Right now it doesn't look horribly poorly balanced. It looks like it might be a hair off. So I may look into the balancing instructions and see what it says. I believe there's just a weight you attach onto the blades. Move it up or down the blade to see when you get the best. But it's not moving too much, so I'm not too worried about it right now. And I will turn it off now and put the rest of it back together once it slows down. So this set actually came with a slightly different set of the glass pieces. I'm not a huge fan of this. We'll see what the wife says. I probably like something a little more modern looking, but we'll put it in there now. These go on first, then the bulbs go in. I have some smaller bulbs, so I could probably do it either way. We're going to try and snug these up evenly. This specific brand actually has a little sort of silicone or rubber rim here, so you can tighten them up a little more than some of the other ones without risk of it cracking. So again, just sort of snug these up evenly. Those are in there, they're not really going anywhere. Not going to rattle. That's in there good. Last one. So I'm going to grab my bulbs. I actually have some smaller, I think these are 40 watt equivalent. They're small LED bulbs. And if I remember correctly, and they should be, I am a huge fan of daylight bulbs. I've redone the entire house, all of our lamps, all of our light fixtures, all except for a couple of old ones I still have yet to replace with daylight. Daylight is really a true white. All the other soft whites, warm white, bright white, they all have an amber hue, sort of a yellowing to them. So especially if you have modern colors, I'm going to move this down just a little. Well, that didn't really move much. But all those other colors, again, if you're using sort of modern colors in your home, the yellow hue can really change the way paint colors on the walls and fixtures and furniture look. So I'm a fan of the daylight. So let's see how it works all together here. Got my light fixture, all 4 lights working. My daylight bulbs in there. I can turn off my little shop light now because I don't need it. Looks pretty good. And again, throw it on medium, get her spinning. Again, it's got a slight hum to it. You probably can't hear it, but that's just the motor humming just a hair. Hoping once the blades get going and the wife lays down in bed that just the sound of the air movement is going to sort of overturn the sound of the hum of the engine. So that's about medium right there. Doesn't like the fans shifting at all. It was a switch over to high that gave me a little bit of vibration, but again, right now I'm not too concerned with that little bit of movement, a little bit of shaking. I don't think it's enough to consider it significantly off balance. So that's a nice breeze there on high. Not a whole lot of noise except for the blades going through the air. So that's where we're at right now. I'm going to turn it off. Move my step ladder out of the way. So I know it was a long video, but I hope you guys stayed through it all. Just want to let you know it's not all that difficult to replace a ceiling fan if you've got something that's outdated. Personally, my wife and I, we hate this stuff with the gold trim. To me, it's really, really dated. Just not really a fan. So this is much cleaner. It's got that satin nickel finish. A couple of daylight bulbs in there make it look great. I'm hoping she'll like the wood grain that's on there. Again, I probably prefer the more modern side, but she might like this. And if you have any questions, please leave a comment. Hope you enjoyed. Please give the video a like. I appreciate it. And take the time to subscribe. I'll try and come up with some other random projects. I am really excited about sort of the holiday project I have coming up, and also the build for my new entertainment center that's going to be built primarily out of plywood. So I'm really looking forward to those builds. Unfortunately, they're a little bigger, especially the entertainment center is a little bigger of a project for me. It's going to take quite a bit of while to make the cuts, but I really look forward to sharing the holiday project with you guys. I will be giving away free plans for those who take the time to like the video and subscribe to my channel. I know I don't have a lot of content now, but hopefully I'll get some more out there for you as the wife comes up with new projects for me to do around the house. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe by hitting the icon at the bottom left portion of the screen and check out some of my other videos.